Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Astrology Today and Tarot. My name is Mel Rose. This post is the Tarot portion and the second half of my daily astrology vlog, which you can find at Astrology Today with Mel Rose. The idea here is to apply some further intuitive insight into the day's energies. First, I will discuss the tarot card that sits on the side of the page. Then I'll run down the day's astrology before throwing another random card that speaks to what's going on today. Let's get into it, shall we? The tarot card that sits on the side of the page currently is the Nine of Swords, and it relates directly astrologically to the second 10 days of the sun's transit through Gemini. So Gemini is an air sign. Gemini is about dispersing air, about dispersing information, data, ideas, sharing the wealth of information. And the Nine of Swords, swords is an air sign in Tarot, talks about how we use that information, how we use our thoughts and our plans and our words in the world, especially, to our benefit or detriment. So here we see a moment in a person's life that might be pretty identifiable to some of us, where you might be losing sleep or somehow missing out on your regular, stable routine because of something that is going through your mind and your heart, something that is a little bit overwhelming to think about. It can be causing one a lot of grief, a lot of anxiety, a lot of mental anguish. It may feel like hopelessness. There may be bad dreams involved. And this is because we've gotten caught in this sort of cycle or loop of negative thinking. Sometimes, something terrible might happen, or something that just feels terrible might happen. And, it just gets us to thinking about terrible things and worst case scenarios. And so it can kind of be hard to get out of that loop of negative thinking when that happens. And this is a reminder that dwelling on things, ruminating on things that we do not have any power to change is detrimental to our health, like literally to our physical health, and also to our ability to function in the world. And take as an example, if you're losing sleep, whether I mean that whether that's allegorical or real, if you're losing sleep, then you're not going to be a fully functioning adult the next day, and you're not going to be able to attend your responsibilities. Okay, you lose one night of sleep, you might do okay. Lose 2 or 3 nights of sleep, not so much, right? So we have to figure out how to take our brains back from the negative loop of thoughts and over analysis of a situation that we really can't do anything about. And there are different ways to do that. I always recommend if you can't sleep at night, especially, I don't recommend laying in bed when you can't sleep, especially if you're overthinking or ruminating about something or feeling anxious or sad about something. It can help to get up and get some physical activity, or if physical activity is not what feels right for you, then, at least read a book or catch a show, do something that will help you to sort of focus your mind elsewhere, get you back into a normal rhythm of a thinking pattern, just so that you can, steal your brain back for the evening and hopefully get some sleep. It's a reminder to attend our mental health. Okay, these times come up for lots of people. It's depression, it's anxiety. The world is a stressful place for a lot of people right now. So I definitely feel that out in the air, and we just have to really try to get control of the way that we are using our thoughts and our words, especially if we're using them against ourselves, especially if we're kicking ourselves, or especially if we're beating up on ourselves for not being able to do anything about something that we can't do anything about, right? Yes, so if you are struggling alone with anxiety, hopelessness, depression, and you don't feel like you're capable of handling it on your own, that would be totally normal. And I really recommend reaching out to somebody that can hear you out. And with that said, I'm going to mix up some cards while I remind myself and the cards that the sun is in Gemini. And sun in Gemini is a time when we want to share information. We want to take in all kinds of new ideas and data, and we want to sort of mash it all together in our creative little intellects and express it in a way, that gives it power, that gives it power, and that gives it light and life. So, Sun in Gemini is just a time when we are really taking in all the information we can and trying to do something creative with it. And then the Moon in Virgo is a time when, in the heart and home especially, we have this sort of yearning to heal things or to set things right. Maybe we have something on our heart that we know we can do something to set it right. And so this is kind of that time, the Moon in Virgo, when we would be able to come up with a positive solution and move forward with it. In the meantime, the Moon is a waxing crescent, nearly a first quarter. So at this time, we're tying up all the plans that we have made, the intentions that we have set, the goals we have set for ourselves, so that tomorrow we can begin to take action on those things, to move ourselves physically, realistically in the direction of those goals that we're trying to achieve. So that hopefully with the new moon, with the full moon in a couple of weeks, we can have a culmination to celebrate. And on the moon side of the page today, late tonight, we have this beautiful moon trine Venus. Harmonious relations, friends, from the heart. If you are at home with your loved ones or with your very loved one, this is a good time to be connecting and getting along very well with one another. On the sun side of the page, early this morning, is this encouragement to share our best ideas with others and to enjoy their support, because it will lift up our spirits. So here, I am talking about anxiety and depression, about reaching out to somebody, right? And here it is on the page saying you have late tonight a great time to hang out with somebody that you care about and who cares about you. Early this morning, a message saying, you gotta share what's going on in your head with people. Share your best idea with others, but really just share whatever is going on in your mind with others. And there is support available at this time. And then Mercury trine Pluto is this really golden moment with a potential for insight. And in the Astrology Today portion, I did a piece. I spoke a little bit about Juneteenth, because Mercury trine Pluto lasts through the 16th, the 19th of June, which is Juneteenth in the United States. It's a day of emancipation from slavery, but it also points to the fact that after we freed the slaves in the United States, after Lincoln freed the slaves in the United States, for about 3.5 years, people were still in slavery in Texas. So, given this moment, this golden moment of insight, and given that is sort of culminating or coming to an end, actually beginning to dissipate as of Juneteenth, I just thought that it would be a good idea to give some thought to that part of ourselves in our shadow that we try to deny, but that tries to control, manage the actions of the people around us, right? The little ways in which we seek consciously or unconsciously to control the behaviors of others, to make them reliable, no matter what. And, I think it's worth looking at on the individual level. I think it can help us also deal with our collective subconscious problem, looking back on slavery and emancipation and Jim Crow and just, discrimination in the United States in general. If we look within ourselves and try to see, that part of us that really seeks to be in control of the people around us, even though we are stated as people who value, individual expression and freedom of movement. And then Pluto is retrograde, so that does place the transformative work squarely on the inside. Pluto is also retrograde in Capricorn, which is ruled by Saturn, which is also retrograde. So Pluto is retrograding in Saturn's Capricorn right now. And Saturn is retrograde through the 22nd of October, and this is really like foundations cracking apart. So for the past 25 years, Pluto has been in Capricorn, completely rearranging our traditions and institutions to a point where they're barely recognizable to us anymore. If you were alive 25 years ago, the world is a changed place. And then this Saturn retrograde, while Pluto is in its final retrograde in Capricorn, really just sticks out to me as a possible breaking point for something foundational that we believed would last forever, but probably will not. And I know that sounds a little doom and gloom, but after things break apart, after things fall apart, there's always hope and a new beginning. So, with all of that said, I'm going to turn this card over. And we got the Nine of Pentacles. So, first of all, 9 and 9. If you like the number 9, or if you're like me and you like anything that's a multiple of 3, that looks pretty positive. It definitely looks like a moment of progress, right? If you can get from the 9 of Swords to the 9 of Pentacles, you're doing pretty good. So Pentacles are about our health, wealth, and finances, about how we keep our bodies, how we keep our things nice, and how we keep our money as well. And 9 of Pentacles represents somebody who has done the hard work and who is now reaping the benefits of their labor. And, they deserve it. And there's a certain sense of peacefulness to this person because they are well resourced. They feel well protected. They feel grounded in the material world. And, they really don't have very much that they have to worry about. They can really just enjoy the fruits of their labor. So, for one thing, I'm going to look back to these bookends here, something early in the day that says, share about yourself with others, and their support will lift your spirits. Their support will help you gain confidence in yourself. And then in the evening, it says we have this point in the evening where we can have really harmonious relationships from the heart with somebody that we are close to, enjoying their support, right? And so, when we have given ourselves honestly and with a, what I want to say, honestly and with a pure intention at heart to a friendship or a relationship, that can reap its rewards. That can create its own rewards. It can sort of be its own reward in the long run, because when we are given ourselves in good faith to the building of a relationship, the strengthening of a bond with another person, whether it's a family member or a friend or a lover, then when we need that emotional support, it is there for us. I see friendship very strongly in this card just because this person has a bird on their shoulder. And it's almost like, part of the riches are, on the person, and part of the riches are on the bird. And so it's almost like the riches come from the bond between the person and their friend. So, the Saturn retrograde news, it's hard to make it look good. The Pluto retrograde news, this is challenging work that we are being tasked with to sort of transform ourselves on the inside. And this is the last Pluto retrograde, so it's possible that a lot of us are really going through some transformative changes, some evolutionary shifts, okay? And that means that we have had losses and things have come to an end and new beginnings are on the horizon, but there's always that moment in between of a little bit of confusion. And I'm seeing that the advice here is to lean on those relationships that are supportive for you because you have given your best to them. And taken together with the Nine of Swords, I will say the person in the Nine of Pentacles, works on what is material in their world. Okay, this person is in a garden. They've basically metaphorically, or figuratively, or realistically grown up a garden around themselves, and now they have this abundant garden with nice high green walls, and they have the fruits of their labor basically hanging off of the plants all around them. And there's a sense of security there, and there's a sense of not having to hurry, and there's a sense of not really being worried about anything that is going on outside of where they are. Whereas with the Nine of Swords, there is a sort of opposite sense of being very concerned and worried with things that I don't have any control over. A sense of trying to perhaps even rush through the processing of something that is very difficult to handle. Sometimes I think that, when we have a loss, or when something comes to an end, or when something terrible happens, sometimes I think that a lot of the grief, a lot of the pain that we experience is not wanting to deal with the grief, not wanting to, trying to push away the thoughts, and trying to push away the shadow that wants to be expressed at that time. When we try to quiet our minds, sometimes this icky stuff just rises up out of the shadow and asks for acknowledgement, and we create more grief for ourselves by just completely pushing away, instead of acknowledging it, and having a conversation with ourselves, like, hey, this is what it is. We just really try hard not to think about it, and I think that causes us more pain, because it comes back harder, it just pushes harder. So there's a conversation I've been having a lot lately about acknowledging the darkness, making friends with the bad stuff, the things that you don't like to remember, but that come up when we try to quiet the mind. We have to try to befriend it somehow. We have to give it our attention and our acknowledgement, even just insofar as to, okay, yes, acknowledge that is what happened. Just don't just go, no, 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 and try to push it away. Acknowledge, yes, that happened, and wow, that really sucked. And sometimes just acknowledging it will allow it to let up on you a little bit. So, we strive to be more like this person than like this person. We strive to be more grounded in the material world, feeling well resourced, and sort of at ease in our bodies and in our minds. And part of that, I believe, is sort of making friends with the things that we might fear. And I believe that's all that I have to say about that today. Thank you all so much for joining me. I truly appreciate your presence here. My name is Mel Rose, and I'll see you all back here tomorrow for more Astrology Today and Tarot.